So once I started attracting potential suitors, because I opened myself up to it. Like I can attract, I naturally attract if I'm open to it, romantically. I attract a lot anyway, but romantically I have to be open and I open myself up and I attract easily. So it was like a time where like I was just starting to attract suitors and I could feel him still in my sexual energy. So it was like, oh my goodness, I can't even talk to people without feeling him. Like it's like he knew everything that I was doing. He knew he could sense if it was another man in my energy, and he would act a fool. So the whole time I'm trying to talk to somebody, and my down yonder is going crazy. I'm like, oh my goodness, how am I going to be able to do this? So I'm talking to a few people, nothing serious. So I finally started talking to this one guy. It was around my birthday. My birthday is October 25th. So I know I was talking to him. I know I talked to him on my birthday. But I was talking to this one guy and I was telling him like, look, because he was trying to, pursue me very much so. And he was spiritual. So he was awakened and he knew about enough stuff, you know what I'm saying? As far as witchcraft, I think he had been like a girl tried to hex him before and all kind of stuff. So I could talk to him about what was going on, kind of. So he was like, well, you have to. He said you have to sleep with somebody else to break it. Like it was a spell. It wasn't a spell. What me and my spiritual spouse have is not a spell. It's an energetic cord. No spell is strong enough to be what we have. Okay, so, but he had a point. He had a point of me, at least it was worth a try to start something new with somebody and potentially be intimate to kind of try to you know cut the cord or cut the energetic cord. So I was open to doing that, but not with him. I wasn't feeling him like that. And I told him I was like I would do it. I will do it, but it have to be like a soul connection. Like I intuitively knew that if I was going to sleep with anybody or do anything, be intimate with anybody in any kind of way, they had to be a soul connection. They had to be a soulmate. So that's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for someone that was a divine being like myself, that was a soulmate that I had a soul connection with. And by like December, so this my birthday was at the end of October. By early, what's it early? By the middle of December. So probably 2 months later, I had met my divine soulmate. Well, we had already been friends on Facebook. I had seen him on Facebook and he kind of caught my attention. I liked his personality. He was funny and stuff like that, but I was already like laser focused on my spiritual spouse. So I didn't look at him like that, but I just liked him as a person. I was like, oh, he cool. And I commented on a few of his posts or whatever, very, very, very innocently. But one day in December, like 2 months later, um 2 months after my birthday, so if it was 2 months after my birthday, it was probably 3 months after I decided to emotionally detach from my spiritual spouse. So within 3 months, I attracted another spiritual spouse. I had commented on something that he posted on Facebook. I think he was saying, if you know me, tell me what's the most important to me. And I commented, I said, I don't know you, but I said, I see that you're a Capricorn, so money, because Capricorns don't play about their money. I was like, I said, I'm not your friend. That's what I said. I said, I'm not your friend, but I see you're a Capricorn, so I would say your money. You don't play about your money. So he messaged me and was like, we can be friends. You want to be my friend? So that's how it started with my another divine soulmate. And at first he was cool, but I was like, I'm a free spirit. And he's a free spirit, but we're free spirits in totally different ways. So first I was saying we're not compatible, but I felt a connection there. Like I really felt a connection. I felt very comfortable with him. We felt very comfortable with each other. And we said that like it felt like we already were very familiar with each other, I should say. So I ended up exploring him, you know, and we ended up being intimate. So I was celibate from June of 2022, and I broke my celibacy with him in December of 2023. And when I broke my celibacy with him, um, it was nice. There definitely we have a strong bond, like a strong connection. I go home and I'm thinking that I wasn't gonna feel my spiritual spouse no more. I felt them. I felt them still. I was like, okay. But that didn't deter me from exploring my um divine soulmate, you know. And it was kind of refreshing because in my mind I knew that I needed to find someone that I knew that I needed to attract someone that was a divine soulmate, you know, but I wasn't sure if I would. You know, I had faith that I would because I just jumped out there like fuck it, you know what I'm saying? But I wasn't sure because as far as I knew, like my spiritual spouse, he was my everything. So imagine awakening to a whole new world. You see the world through a whole new lens, and he's the first person that I connected to that was like me. And we could do some amazing things together. You know what I'm saying? Like we have a powerful connection. So I'm thinking that me and him were the only two people like us. You know, I thought he was like the end all be all, like we were the only two people like us or whatever. And I just did not think that there were others. So once I decided to open myself up, I figured out or found out that there are others. And I attracted another. So I was like, okay. You know what I'm saying? So thankfully, and there are more. I've attracted more, but I'll have to get into that in another video. But yeah, I thought that my spiritual spouse was the only, I thought me and him were the only ones like us, you know. And he was the only person I felt that connected to. You know, there was a deep connection because like literally there are not many of us. And he was the first person that I've met like us. I don't know about him. Like if he's met other divine feminines, but I know my other divine soulmate said no, he's never I'm the only divine feminine that he's ever met, you know. So there's that.